Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into something that's honestly one of the coolest tools in geography, the population pyramid. It might just look like a simple graph, but trust me, it's so much more. It's like a snapshot, a history book, and a crystal ball all rolled into one.
I mean, that sounds a little crazy, right? Can one single shape really tell you all that? The past, the present, and what's coming next? Well, the answer is a huge yes. And by the end of this, you'll be able to look at one of these shapes and see the story of a nation unfold. So, how are we going to do it?
Here's our game plan. First, we're going to get the basics down, the anatomy of a pyramid. Then, the fun part, we'll learn how to read the hidden clues in its shape. After that, we'll see how these shapes change over time through 5 distinct stages of a country's life. And finally, we'll talk about why this all really matters.
Okay, first things first. Before we can start reading these incredible stories, we've got to learn the language they're written in. We need to understand the basic blueprint of the pyramid itself.
So, what even is a population pyramid? At its heart, it's actually super simple. Just imagine taking 2 regular bar charts, one for men, one for women, flipping them on their sides and sticking them back to back. That's it. Simple idea, but wow, is it powerful.
So that vertical line running right up the middle, that's all about age. It starts at the very bottom with the youngest, the newborns, ages 0 to 4, and goes all the way up tier by tier to the oldest members of society at the very top.
And notice that split down the center? That divides the entire population by sex. Usually, you'll see the male population on the left and the female population on the right. This lets us see, in an instant, how the numbers of men and women compare at any given age.
And what about those bars sticking out to the side? Well, that's the population size. The longer a bar is, the more people there are in that specific group. So, to recap, age goes up the middle, sex is split left and right, and population size goes outwards. That's the blueprint. Now, let's learn how to read it.
All right, now for the really cool part. Think of this as getting your own demographic decoder ring. With just a few quick checks, you can start to unlock the major secrets hidden inside any pyramid shape.
And you know what? It really comes down to just 3 key spots. We're going to start at the very bottom, at the base. Then we'll shoot our eyes all the way to the top. And finally, we'll look at the shape of the sides. Each part tells you a critical piece of the story.
Step 1, always check the base. This is your number 1 clue, your starting point. If the base is super wide, like a big, sturdy foundation, that means one thing. A lot of babies are being born. That's a high birth rate. If it's narrow, you guessed it, a low birth rate.
Step 2. Look all the way up to the top. If the pyramid keeps going and is pretty broad way up high, that's a fantastic sign. It means people are living longer lives, high life expectancy. But if it gets skinny really fast and tapers to a sharp point, that tells you life expectancy is probably lower. And for step 3, we analyze the sides. If the sides are curving inwards, kind of like a ski slope, that indicates a high death rate. It means a lot of people in each age group aren't making it to the next one. But if the sides are much straighter, almost vertical, that shows a low death rate. People are surviving well into adulthood and beyond. But you also have to look for anomalies, the weird bumps and dents. A sudden bulge in the pyramid can show you a baby boom generation or maybe a huge wave of immigration. On the other hand, a sudden indent or a chunk taken out can be a scar from a past war, a famine, or a terrible disease. These aren't just lines. They are literally echoes of major historical events.
Okay, so when you put all these clues together, the base, the top, the sides, and those special bumps, they start to tell a much bigger story. We can actually see how a country evolves over time through 5 distinct demographic stages. A journey that transforms its shape from a true pyramid into something totally different.
Stage 1 is your classic pyramid. I mean, it's the poster child. You've got a super wide base because birth rates are high, but it gets pointy really fast because death rates are also high, so the population doesn't really grow much.
Now in stage 2, something big happens. Thanks to better healthcare and sanitation, death rates plummet. But, and this is key, birth rates stay high. What happens when you combine those 2 things? A population explosion. The pyramid's base gets even wider and the country grows fast.
Then comes stage 3, and the story changes again. Now, birth rates finally start to fall. As families choose to have fewer kids, the base begins to narrow. The shape starts to look less like a sharp pyramid and more like a tombstone. Population growth begins to slow way down.
By stage 4, a country has pretty much stabilized. You've got low birth rates and low death rates. And the pyramid? It's not really a pyramid anymore. It straightens out into a rectangular or barrel shape. The population is stable with about the same number of people in most age groups.
And finally, we hit stage 5, a place many developed countries find themselves in today. This is brand new territory for humanity. The birth rate has dropped below the death rate, so the base is now narrower than the middle, creating this incredible inverted pyramid or kite shape. It's the unmistakable sign of an aging and shrinking population.
This chart here is a perfect summary. It puts that whole journey together beautifully, from the classic pyramid of stage 1 all the way to the inverted pyramid of stage 5. It's an amazing visual story of development, all powered by the simple relationship between birth rates and death rates.
So, we've learned the language, we've decoded the clues, we've followed the story through all 5 stages. But you might be wondering, okay, cool, but why does this actually matter?
Well, it matters because these shapes are deeply human. They tell a government whether it needs to build more schools or more retirement homes. They show the incredible benefits of peace and good health care, but they also carry the permanent scars of war and disease. They really are a visual record of our human journey. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have the decoder ring, now that you know the secrets, go look up the population pyramid for your own country, or any country that fascinates you. Look at its shape. What story does it tell you?